What is up, guys? We are back with another episode of Southern Arizona Sports Talk. I'm your host, Raul, and I'm happy to be back. I got my man. We're going to riff, David. We're going to riff about some of the games that happened last week and kind of put our predictions out for this week.
I accidentally went to the guy that's not here yet. He's on his way.
Yeah. So, what do you think the biggest surprise of week one of the high school season was for you, Dave?
Surprise? Oof. You know what? I think the CDO program losing to Eastmark was the big surprise for me. Yeah, I thought they for sure they were going to come out with a week win W, and it didn't happen. You know, a lot of people are talking about the Salpointe and Marana high school game, but what did I tell you before the game, bro?
Oh, we were all on the same page. Marana, like I keep saying, man, Marana's defense is nasty. The one thing about them that surprised me the most, they never got negative, they never got down, and for young kids, that is so huge because even at the college level, man, we've been down 5-0 in the first inning, and it just seems like there's a whole different vibe.
Yeah, that's a good mindset to have, to be able to come out of the adversity and still prevail. You know, so what was the big surprise for you, man? I mean, I'm looking at the scores here. What are you thinking?
It's different. So for me, it's still the Salpointe game, even though I was picking them, because I was there live at the game, and Salpointe came in hot in that second half. Their quarterback Matthews, he wasn't making a lot of throws, but the throws he did make, they were going for touchdowns. He was pinpointing every single mistake.
Yeah.
But Marana has that mindset, never say die, man. I'm excited to see what they do tonight against Tucson High, which is our game of the week. And they got Higley. They got Higley next week, too, which is huge.
Game of the week. Yeah, are you going to that game tonight?
Yep, it is the Snap Fitness sponsor game of the week. I will be there on the sidelines. Come say what's up to me. Yeah, we will be videotaping, getting some interviews afterwards. And like last week, I'll be updating you guys on all the games. And I think it's going to be more exciting than people think, to be honest, because we had Coach Zach in last week.
Yeah.
And he's another great leader, and those guys are going to be ready.
Yeah, you know, just following the history of the Tucson football program in probably the last 5 to 7 years, to see them come out of a week win one with 50 points, I'm gonna admit that I'm surprised on that, and I don't mean it out of disrespect by any way. I just was not expecting it, because didn't they put 50 points up on somebody?
Yeah, against South Mountain.
Okay.
Yeah.
South Mountain. That's a Phoenix school, right?
Yeah, man, they're beating Phoenix schools.
Yeah.
It's different. So, like, I know football was always notorious for being pretty good, but, man, that jump to 6A is hard for whatever sport you do.
Yeah. Oh, so they're in the 6A crowd now, huh?
Yeah. Or no. They were in I messed up on that. They're in 5A now, but for a while they were in 6A, and that's when I remember my freshman year they ran into Hamilton first round of the playoffs, and that's a whole different program right there, man.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting, those bigger programs like Chandler and Chandler Hamilton and stuff like that, they tend to play some out-of-state competition. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. I think it's just mainly so at the end goal is the national championship. I know Chandler's been notorious for going there. Like, they're always at the Cowboy Stadium freaking playing some IMG team or something like that.
Well, I mean, national championship at the high school level. This is what we're talking about right now. Well, how does a team accomplish that? You know, for the listeners and viewers that are interested in that.
So I know at least for baseball, because that's where like my most experience is from baseball. The way it works is the state champions. There's always power rankings national wise, and if you're in the top, I think for baseball, if you're in the top 12, you move on to their state level, which is normally at in South Carolina, the USA Training Center.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know that, man.
Yeah, football, like I said, I'm a baseball guy at heart, and that's where I've experienced a lot. Football, I'm not too sure, but I know for Arizona, we have that open division, which is a great opportunity for other division schools to play each other.
Yeah. You know, another one that kind of caught my attention was another program here took down a Phoenix or close to school was Mountain View Marana beat Gilbert Tigers 23-21 at home.
Ooh, that's a close one.
Yeah, that's again, you're seeing some of the Phoenix schools go down. Again, now they're not, like you said, you're not Chandler Hamilton, they're not Brophy. But hey, you know, Coach just arrived, so we're gonna go to break, man, and get him in here.
Sounds good. Let's get him in.
Let's do it.
Welcome to Snap Fitness. This is my gym.
And my gym.
And this is my gym.
And my gym.
Here at Snap Fitness Marana, we welcome all kind people trying to stay healthy.
Ready to make us your gym? Click the link below, message us on social media, or give us a call 520-400-4646.
We are Jet Sports Training, where our mission is to cultivate champions. This is where athletes come to get faster and everyday people come to change their lives. This is not a gym, but a community. Come get jetted.
About to take off in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lot of y'all doubted on me. Now they like, wow, look how far you go. Legendary like all my idols, coming for it all, and I can't wait. Success just called and I got me a date. So I grabbed my ambitions and I'm on my way. Cross the wrong line and it's bad news. Might get burned like a candle. We too hot to handle. World at my feet like a sandal. I only move when I plan to. Your moves could get canceled.
Show is sponsored by D's Barbers, one of the best barbershops in town. With the weekend coming up, you're always trying to look fresh. Make sure you go check out my dude, Dave, at D's Barbershop, 1842 West Grant Road. Go check him out. What is up, guys? We are back with Coach Steward. What is up, brother?
Oh, man, I'm doing all right this morning.
Dude, you came in style, my dude. Freaking repping the freaking Marana jersey. You got them gold whistle. You're ready for today, brother.
Well, today the football players said they want to wear, like, throwback jerseys, so I put out a jersey, so.
Oh, shoot.
That's why I did it.
You watched the game yesterday, man? Chiefs and Ravens?
Yeah, I watched I caught the second half of it, man. It was pretty good. You know, the guy would have got his toe in. I think the game would have went a different way. But
okay, I got to ask you that. You really think wearing white cleats would have made the big of a difference?
Probably not, because with all those cameras, it would have ended up catching him anyway. He stepped right on the line. So that's why, if you looked at it, nobody argued it. They seen it.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, dang, they caught me. So,
dude, that reminded me of the freaking Desmond catch.
Yeah.
Like last week's game, man. That was
a spectacular catch, man. And what's crazy is he catches the ball like that all the time. Nobody has never ruled him in bounds for it.
Oh, man.
Like last year, he had a few catches like that, and it's always been marked out of bounds. So seeing that catch is just another thing on his list that he does, man. Just catch the ball with one hand. He does it at practice. He does it in games. So
he's just a stud in general, man.
Yeah, man.
After kind of being around your team a lot, he's a really good leader, man. Especially after the game, the Salpointe game, he was probably one of the most positive guys out there, making sure everyone's up and everything.
And I think that's why this year, he was chosen, the captain this year, because I think the kids kind of they feel that, like, throughout the whole summer. He was there all summer. He was constantly pushing them. Even though he had his different trips he had to go on, he always made sure he got back and kept pushing the guys every day. So, it's things I've been saying since he was a freshman, growing up and him becoming to who he is now.
Yeah, he's humble. He's a leader, man. He's awesome. Kind of going back to the game, what do you think It makes Patrick Mahomes so good in those freaking crazy situations because it seems like every time he's doing something, it always comes down to the wire. Which is if someone that bets on him, the freaking betting odds go up when he's down. Like that's almost like a for sure thing at this point.
So to me, I grew up on Tom Brady. So I used to see Tom Brady, clutch moment, here he comes. The game's never over. You know what I'm saying? So watching Patrick Mahomes last night, he's just a good all-around player. He stays very, very poised in those situations. And it feels like to me like his game elevates in those situations. Yeah. But even Lamar Jackson on the other side, he was very poised, trying to get his team back and stuff like that. Had a couple of bad throws at the end, but he still kept his team in it. So I think both of them was great quarterback. But Patrick Mahomes, it's like in that situation, his game just elevates.
Yeah, like he's ready. He lives for that situation.
He lives for those moments. Yeah, it's like the game has to go to one of those moments so we can see him shine. Yeah, that's how I felt about Tom Brady. It's like, oh yeah, the game's gonna come down to Tom Brady driving at the end. They either gonna kick a field goal or he scores. So watching Tom Brady growing up, I used to always it's gonna come down to Tom Brady. That's just what it was. So
almost a for sure thing at that point. It's that wild card right there. Like no matter what, he's gonna win.
It's meant for the game to come down to the wire, where either he has to drive to score or drive to get a field goal.
Yeah. So so the argument's been, do you think he's gonna live up to be better than Tom Brady?
He has the opportunity to, man. You know,
have you seen the stats?
The stats, when you compare the stats, right now it's a passing league. At first, when Tom Brady started off, it used to be a running league. You know what I'm saying? So he had real good running backs. He had a real good defense. You know what I'm saying? He had a real good field goal kicker. Now, shoot, you at the 50-yard line, a kicker can kick the ball there. So it's like the game has changed a lot. You know what I'm saying? And now it's a passing league. So Mahomes can catch him as far as passing yards, but.
You got that baseball arm, man. I got to throw that in, bro.
But I don't know if Super Bowls, he might catch him. I don't know, but it's going to be tough.
I think he's going to go for the 3-peat, man.
I think they got a chance. They got a solid chance, but that's hard. Winning 2 times in a row is hard. So doing a 3-peat is probably going to even be tougher this year. Yeah.
So,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so the reason I bring that in, because Patrick Mahomes loves the crazy situation he's calm. How the heck did you establish that in your team, man? Because I was with my cousin watching the game, and the whole time I'm watching it, and I'm like, they're not getting outplayed right now. In my opinion, they're outplaying Salpointe, but the score is not showing it. Then the second half happens, and Salpointe
it all came together.
Yeah, no, like Salpointe came out hot. Then all of a sudden, with 10 minutes left in third quarter, you just see your guys. They're still focused. They're ready to fight. How the heck did you establish them kids with that mindset?
It all starts. In the summer, man, the way we train, the way we work out, we always putting the kids in those type of situations at practice. So when it comes up in the game, we've been here before. You know what I'm saying? Like, what was crazy was the day before we had practice, what happens after you get a safety? Like, we just knew we was going to get a safety some point in the game.
You got 2 of them, man.
You know what I'm saying? So
dude, I was on the sideline screaming, that's a freaking safety, bro.
So we end up getting a safety, and after a safety, when they punt the ball, if they punt the ball, choose to punt it, you have to feel it. Some teams don't know that. They'll just let it roll, and if the other team get it, it's their ball again right there. So we teach those. We put them in those different situations at practice and stuff like that. So when it comes up in the game, everybody should be poised. And, the coaches, we constantly coach them. But the one thing that I can say that we had this year, the senior leadership, man, we didn't have to say, hey, let's keep fighting, let's keep going. The guys out there that was playing was like, hey, let's stay locked in. We got this. We just got to, stop the mistakes as far as the penalties. And once we cleaned up the penalties, man, it was all she wrote. We got clicking. We got going fast. We conditioning like a track team. So once we got to going fast, they got tired.
You make your guys do freaking track during the off season, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think we got over 200 kids on the track team. Majority of them are my football players. It's because we run a fast-paced offense. You got to run. You got to be fast. So a lot of them go run track in the off season. And then we train as when we running to run like track. So I think that third quarter, last 10 minutes, our conditioning kicked in.
That's what they look like. Salpointe looked like they were not talking bad about Salpointe. Like, I have family on the team, but they just look like they were looking at you guys like, what is going on? They should be.
I love it, man. I love it. That element of surprise just because you're just whooping. Come on.
They're like, what's going on? Why aren't they saying die already?
So a lot of it was, I think like the extra shoving and all that. They want to see if our guys was going to quit. But like I said, we've been building up for this moment, you know what I'm saying? And those guys didn't have no quit in them, and they kept fighting, and eventually Salpointe quit. We got to going fast. We was able to get our tempo going, and we can see them we end up getting a penalty for too many men on the field, or they wasn't even set in their stance. We was going so fast, and I don't think they was able to keep up. And I told the boys that comes from the conditioning and all the work we put in this summer, and it showed in that game.
Yeah, definitely. So that's something you try to do, though, because I've seen some interviews. You're like, I'm always trying to catch them when there's one more extra guy on the field.
That's my goal. Every game, I'm trying to at least catch one or two of them. So we was able to catch them at the end at the right time, and we was trying to score, and that's just free yards. I tell the offense, if we can catch them with too many men on the field or them jumping off sides, that's just free yards. We didn't have to run a play. So I think we end up getting like almost getting like 35, 40 yards of just free yards, not even having to run the play.
Well, the first half, it looked like you guys, they were throwing punches, man, and then they weren't getting any calls.
Yeah.
I was seeing...
It happens. And, man, like I said, man, those same calls, 'cause a lot of people's like, man, the refs was trying to cheat y'all. And I was like, but those same calls helped us in the second half because they was calling it. You know what I'm saying? And they called it against us. They started calling it versus them in the second half. And I think that ultimate helped us get to what we were trying to do, and that was win the game. So it happens, you know what I'm saying? And I try to tell my boys and the coaches, hey, the referee's not changing the call. So argue with them, you're just wasting your time. They called it, let's move on. Let's keep going. And I think that second half, the referees are calling it. We just kept moving. And I think they were starting to get frustrated with the referee calls, and it was making it worse.
They got emotional.
So I'm saying
you guys were at the 1 yard line, 17-24. Didn't make it, but the whole time you could just see like, all right, mother effers, we're going to get you guys. It's going to come down to the wire, but we're going to be there.
Yep. So, like I said, just that grit, that fight, and just having those senior leaderships just kept pushing us. You know, our defense did a really, really good job of keeping the offense in the game, and once the offense got clicking, it was all she wrote. So the boys did really good. I'm very proud of them, especially a lot of those guys that grew up and seen the history of Salpointe. They know the history, the winning and all that.
Well, they haven't lost a Tucson team since 2017. You guys
I found that out after the game. You know, so I was like, whoa, I never knew that. So and I think those boys, they know all that history of the going back and forth with Salpointe. You know what I'm saying? A lot of their friends went over to the Salpointe and stuff like that. So I think it was really big for our community and our players to go and do that for them. And I told the boys, put your name in history books because that's 27-game winning streak, and y'all stopped that. That's pretty good. You know what I'm saying?
So this year in college, we kind of had the same thing you're going through. We knocked down a juggernaut. We keep winning, but college is a longer season. Once we get to that 15-game mark, we're putting our feet up, man. We're 15th in the nation. I'm literally calling my folks like, hey, make sure you start saving some money so you guys can go to the College World Series. And we straight up, we barely made playoffs. So my question to you is, how are you making sure your guys stay focused? And I think it's really hard. This week's kind of a hard one too because you got Higley next week. Yeah. So how are you making sure they stay focused? Like, hey, one game at a time. Mm-hmm. It's the beginning of the season and it's a long road. What are you kind of telling them to make sure?
So our motto each week is 1-0. On Mondays, our defense coordinator comes in with the game plan, and that's the first thing we say. Hey, our goal is to go 1-0 this week. We only focus on this week. What happened last week was last week. We got to refocus. You know what I'm saying? And I always try to get the guys to understand that the team who stays focused the longest probably going to go the furthest. You know what I'm saying? So I'm always preaching that to them. We have to stay focused. We have to stay focused because it's easy. And I tell them all the time, y'all have a lot of distractions. You got the cell phone, you got the internet, you got the kids around the school constantly saying stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's easy to get distracted. But if you're trying to go somewhere that I think we can go, we have to stay focused. And I think the boys are doing a really good job. And like I said, it comes back down to my players, the seniors. They be putting stuff in our communication app. Yeah. Just saying, hey, fellas, hey, game day, we got to focus. We make sure y'all going to class. Make sure they constantly giving each other reminders of what we got to do to stay focused. So, man, I feel like this goes back to me and the coaching staff. We constantly put that on them since they were freshmen. And to see it just come to, tuition is it's just great. Just every day, hey, fellas, hey, tomorrow we got a game day. Make sure y'all hydrate. Make sure y'all doing this. It's just watching the players say all the stuff that we've been repeating for years.
Just developing leadership.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's just been great watching these guys prepare for the season.
Yeah. So what do you think so like I said, I always try to research my guests. One of the things you were saying about last year, there was a lack of leadership. Mm-hmm. What's different this year? Like what do you think happened during spring ball for not only do you have 4 leaders, it seemed like the whole team is a group of people that are always leading by example.
Yep.
How did you establish that this year?
Well, it all started the second half of last year. Some of those juniors that are now seniors kind of stepped up and was like, you know what, we'll lead it. You know what I'm saying? And we ended up going on a 5-game winning streak after that. Yeah. So it's like it started then, and then I told them, hey, I met with the seniors in May, and they was like, I asked them what they want to do this season. And usually like my first year, I think my senior class was like, hey, we just want to beat Mountain View. I was like, all right. And then someone was like, we just want to win a game, because they was coming off 2 bad seasons prior. So, And then the second year, they was like, we want to make the playoffs, that senior class.
Was that the COVID year?
No, it was after the COVID year.
After the COVID.
That first year, they was like, hey, we went 7-3. They was like, we want to beat Mountain View, and we just want to win some games this year. And then my second year, we went 10-2, and that senior class was like, we want to make the playoffs, and we did make the playoffs. We were really, really good. And then this last senior class was they wanted to get past the second round, but we was lacking one thing, and it was that leadership. And then this year when I went in there in May, those senior classes like, Coach, we want to go win a state championship. And the first thing I said was, like, that's going to take a lot. Like, it's not showing up to practice every day is not going to be enough. Showing up to practice in the summer every single day is not going to be enough for us to go win a state championship. Y'all going to have to do something outside the box, outside of practice. Y'all got to do something out of the ordinary. It's just showing up every day. Everybody shows up in the summer. You know what I'm saying? So what are y'all going to do to separate yourself?
What are you going to do when no one's looking? That's what matters.
So I was like, the coaches and we're going to prep ourselves, but y'all got to do y'all part too. And I feel like they are doing their part, and the coaches, we're doing our part. And I think it's just gelling. And I tell them to be good. You got to take care of the business in the classroom. You need some luck on your side. And you got to just be able to put it all together every Friday and stay focused. So I think we're doing a good job starting off 1-0, and I think they're bringing that same focus into this week too.
That's awesome. You said something really big. You said education. Mm-hmm. What do you do to make sure these kids realize that football's is just something you get to do because your grades are good? One of the things when I interviewed Jeff Skearns was saying, as a head coach, you're not trying to win football games. You're trying to save lives. And what exactly does that mean to you? And just elaborate on that.
Oh, man, I got a good friend, man, named Zach McMillan, man. He passed away last year. And the one thing he always called me at the beginning of the season, he was like, man, don't be down there trying to get a lot of wins. And he said the win's going to come when you change one of those kids' lives. So I always think about that going into the season. It's not about the wins. If you can change one of those kids' lives, that's where the wins come. And that's off the field stuff. That's taking care of business in the classroom, you know what I'm saying? Doing the little things like cleaning the cafeteria after y'all eat, because there's a lot of mess in there. So doing little things like that, that's where the wins come, because that's going to build that guy up to be a good man, a great person in life, you know what I'm saying? And he said that's where the wins are going to come. He used to always tell me that. He said, don't be down there, because he's from Texas. He's like, don't be down in Arizona just trying to get a lot of wins so you can come home and brag. He's like, man, you got to change some of those kids' lives. And I think I'm trying to do a good job of it. I'm always giving them little things. And I told them for this football stuff to work, you got to have the grades. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. And I always tell them the good teams, the teams that go and win, they're not worrying about the grades. They already taking care of that. You know what I'm saying? They coach is not coming to practice. Well, we got 5 guys failing. They don't have to worry about that, because that's first. That's important. We take care of class, it's going to take care of itself on the field.
Was that kind of already established before you got there, or was that something you had to work on as soon as you got there?
It was something I had to work on. In my first year, a few parents fought me on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, why you got to miss the game? He's still passing. Like, what's crazy is I just did my grade check this week.
Was it good?
Yeah. So I haven't went through it all. I'm going to go through it this weekend, and hopefully everybody's passing so nobody has to miss next week. But I do a grade check, and that's just it's not for me to try to see who's failing. It's trying to see, hey, look, man, your grade kind of down at the C. Let's get that back up. You know what I'm saying? Because if we keep going at this pace, it's might going to get down to a D or an F. So let's try to find ways to get that up. If you need to go to tutor in the first hour of practice, let's do that. Let's take care of that before it gets to a place where we don't have no help. You know, we don't have a chance to get it back up. So I do it to kind of keep for them. They don't even know why I'm doing it. They think, oh, coach, you're trying to see that I'm failing. I'm like, nah, I'm doing it to, hey.
So you get to college, man.
Yeah, so football's going to be here so long. You know what I'm saying? Your education and the rest of your life is going to be there. So that's why I do it, and then stuff like that. So I think this weekend, once I get the grades and stuff like that, I'll let the boys know, like, hey, some of y'all grades are slipping. We only been in school 4 weeks. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And if we keep going at this pace and it's already at a C or a D, it's going to be an F in no time. So I do it so they can kind of see where they're at in class. And, the teacher usually leave comments, hey, he's just missing a few assignments. He needs to make sure you get it on time. And I can kind of reiterate that at practice of like, hey, make sure you're taking care of your business in class, because we're going to need all you at some point. You know what I'm saying? Especially if we're trying to go to the playoffs. We can't have our starting line fail in class. So I'm always constantly just giving them reminders like, hey, make sure we're taking care of our business in classroom.
Yeah, that's you. So one of the big things you said, so that's the music for the ad. We will be right back after these ads.
Welcome to Snap Fitness. This is my gym.
And my gym.
And this is my gym.
And my gym.
Here at Snap Fitness Marana, we welcome all kind people trying to stay healthy. Ready to make us your gym? Click the link below, message us on social media, or give us a call 520-400-4646.
We are Just Sports Training, where our mission is to cultivate champions. This is where athletes come to get faster and everyday people come to change their lives. This is not a gym, but a community. Come get jetted.
About to take off in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lot of y'all doubted on me. Now they like, wow, look how far you got. Legendary like all my idols, coming for it all, and I can't wait. Success just called and I got me a date. So I grabbed my ambitions and I'm on my way. Cross the wrong line and it's bad news. Might get burned like a candle. We too hot to handle. World at my feet like a sandal. I only move when I plan to. Your moves could get canceled.
Show is sponsored by D's Barbers, one of the best barbershops in town. With the weekend coming up, you're always trying to look fresh. Make sure you go check out my dude, Dave, at D's Barbershop, 1842 West Grant Road. Go check him out.
I like Rusty's the Wings.
Dude, I could never get into it. I never liked it. And it's right there from where my Little League was, Western Little League.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I go there for the wings sometimes when I go golf.
You got a spot you hit after the games?
Not really. So me, I'm very superstitious. Not superstitious. Like,
what's your pregame routine? What's your game day routine, man?
I have a game day. So usually on game days, I wake up, get a burrito, some breakfast.
Ooh,
and
where from? Be
a breakfast burrito from Filiberto's or
yeah, dude,
or what's the place that's right up
That's
here?
Dangerous sometimes, man, in the morning.
I love those, dude.
It is dangerous, but I do it because it keeps me full all day because I won't eat again until the pregame meal. And every game, I try to feed all 3 levels. You know what I'm saying? My booster club does a good job of reaching out to different businesses that'll feed the kids. So I usually feed them each level, some type of meal that'll get them going. And I give them a Gatorade and water. So each week we eating something different.
Yeah.
So
what do you guys have this week?
So this week we having pasta, actually. Ooh. I don't even know where it's from, actually, because I'm not in charge of it. They keeping my hands clean this year, and I love it. We have Miss Nesbitt, one of our booster moms. She's helping us with getting different foods and stuff like that. So she's doing a really, really good job, and I don't have to worry about it. So I don't find out what we're eating until the food gets there. But yesterday I seen the freshmen eating, so I know we're going to have pasta, salad, and stuff like that. So I'm excited for it. I had and I think it was some meatballs in there. It was pretty good.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you talk about like your freshmen and stuff, and I like watching some of your interviews. You're really big on developing guys that probably no one want.
Yep.
Do you have like a story or something where like say his freshman year, even when you were at Wilcox too, his freshman year, there's like, oh, this dude's gonna be a 3 or 4 year JV guy, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, he's a starter by his senior year.
So for me, I always look at it when I was in high school. You know what I'm saying? Some people from freshman year to your sophomore year, they can make that jump to varsity. Some can't. Some need the game slowed down just a little bit more for their skill to develop. And I tell some parents that's cool, that has a little kid that was like, hey, you think I should put him in tackle football yet or flag? And I'm like, tackling is a skill. You know what I'm saying? You got to have a skill to get somebody down. And I was like, to learn the football, you got to learn the football game also. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I tell parents, start your kid off in flag so they can learn the game, their own skill, how to make people miss, how to avoid people, how to catch the ball.
Without getting crushed.
That's what I'm saying. And then as they getting older, okay, now let's teach you another skill. Now you got to be able to take a hit. You got to be able to give a hit. You got to, you know what I'm saying? Just throwing it right into tackle football. Whoa.
Did you start off with flag?
I started off right in football, and I seen the difference in development, like because you take more injuries going into high school. You've been injured. Some people already tore the ACL 2 or 3 times, and I know that comes with the game, but you can kind of avoid some of that if you're just trying to learn how to catch the ball, avoid people, get out of bounds. And then as you get into middle school, okay, because middle school, you're not gonna have nobody that's in there just
killing it. Yeah,
kills like Ray Lewis in there. You know what I'm saying? You might have a kid or two that get a good shot, but it's not a consistent just getting banged up.
It's not like you're getting freaking knocked out every
not
year.
when you get in high school.
Yeah.
So, and then once you come into high school, our job as coaches is to continue to develop that skill, that tackling skill, teaching you the correct way to tackle and stuff like that. And then the development, and I pride myself on my coaches because, like you said, a lot of people don't want these kids, and we'll take them because we're going to coach them. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what a lot of these kids need is somebody to coach them. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people get into the game, they just want to win, but I don't have all the best players. I don't have all, I wish I had 160 Desmond Roebucks. It'd make my life easier, right? But you don't have guys like that. You get one or two guys that are really, really good. You got some guys that was like, hey, coach, I just need a little bit more work. And then you got some guys like, teach me everything, you know what I'm saying? And me, I love working with the freshmen, like when they come in the summer, it's because a lot of them is just raw. They don't really
some of them probably never even left before.
Yeah, a lot of them just like, coach, I'll play any position. Put me somewhere. And you look at them like, dude, you got a good size on you. You know what I'm saying?
Do you have a lot of first kids that probably never even played football before?
Every year we get a few of those guys that just never play or never play tackle football. And my thing is, heck yes. I get the development. He don't have no bad habits.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a great, I never even thought about that. That's a great way to look at it.
So the only thing he knows is what I'm going to teach him. And when he gets tired and, oh, man, he going to go back to the habits I taught him. And that's what's going to get him through those plays, you know what I'm saying? And that's the one thing we try to do with the boys when we working out and stuff. We're training them, we're getting them tired, and then we ask them to do something where they got to use their brain. You know what I'm saying? And they be like, yeah, you got to think about it before you do it.
And not only making them stronger on the field, making them smarter on the field too.
And it's messing with their mental, but I tell them the game is mental. It's 90% mental, 10% physical. You got to know what you're doing out there because if you don't, you're going to get hurt anyway. And like I said, me and the coach, we pride ourselves on coaching and developing these kids. And it's a beauty thing to see watching them from freshmen grow.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you a story about, I have a kid, his name Isaac Figueroa. He plays my starting right tackle. You know what I'm saying? I watched him as a freshman grow into a sophomore, and a lot of his friends as juniors left to go to varsity. Some left as a freshman, but he needed another year. Now, he's a bad boy. He's a bad boy.
And I saw that line, man. He's like I keep saying, they're nasty, man.
It took an extra year for him, but it worked, and I seen it work, so that's how I know it's not bad being on junior varsity. Hey, I might need to develop my skill just a little bit more, so when I do get to varsity, I'm ready to go. And then I seen it happen when I was in high school. We had my friend, his name Darius Johnson. He went to play for the Atlanta Falcons. Same thing with him. He ended up moving up to varsity late because me and a couple of my other friends, we went up as sophomores. He didn't come up until late his junior year. He didn't have no offers going into his senior year. But when he played his senior year, bad man. Them offers started coming. He just needed another year to figure out his skill set. And once he figured it out, couldn't nobody mess with him. He ended up going to SMU, and then he ended up getting and playing for the Atlanta Falcons. So it's like I said, I done seen it. People get developed, and like I said, I like the coaching. And it happened to me in Wilcox. When I got there, it was like, teach me football. A lot of them didn't even know the basics, so we started with the basics. We walked around the field. Hey, what is this right here? Oh, that's a pylon. Yeah. This is the 50-yard line. These are the hashes. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how I started. My coach taught us about the field, about everything else, about the game of football.
And you came from freaking powerhouse high school. Oh, tell me about that.
Hey, Raul, I know you're getting ready to ask a question, but I am going to chime in because there's someone in the chat asking a question.
Oh.
Okay, so a lady named Darcy is asking for you, Coach, tell us about your QB. Who is he?
My QB now?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's just a random one just popped up. Sorry, Raul, but you know how we do things here, brother.
Oh, that's fine. My QB, Coco, I call him my twin. So Coco, Colton Myers. Man, with him, he's young. Well, he's a junior this year, but he came in for us last year as a sophomore. You know what I'm saying? He was thrown in the fire.
Because you had two quarterbacks last year.
Yeah, two. He came in halfway point, was thrown in the fire. You know what I'm saying? And he came in and was like, Coach, what you need me to do? You know, we got him the game plan, and each week he tried to execute it. And now watching him this year as the guy at the helm, hey, Coach, how you want to attack him? You know what I'm saying? You think we can beat him with this? You think we can do this? He's constantly coming to me, like trying to throw plays at me, say, you think this play will work? You think this play will work? And I think this summer we kind of gelled. We knocked heads, but we did gel. a lot, you know what I'm saying? And going into that Salpointe game, he really wanted to win it. So he's like, Coach, what you need me to do for us to win this game? And I was like, play your game. He's a very talented. He can make all the throws. I get mad at him sometimes because he do that sidearm stuff. I'm like, dude, just throw the ball.
Is he a baseball player?
Nah, he just
trying to be Patrick Mahomes. That's a baseball throw right there.
It's a skill he has. You know what I'm saying? He can throw the little weird throws, or he'll no look. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Then he's like, oh, because I see him looking over there. So, like I said, he has grown a lot this summer. You know, I'm happy he's at the helm. The boys love him and respect him. He's a good kid. I just got his grade check the other day. Got good grades. He's like, Coach, I know you checking my grades. I said, I already checked your grades before I gave you the grade check. I just wanted you to go, you know, to your teachers and make sure you know what your grades are. You know what I'm saying? So he's doing really well. I think he's going to have an awesome season.
Was Salpointe kind of the first time he was in a big pressure situation like that?
Yeah, and stay poised.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He stayed very, very poised. Every time he came off the field, Coach, what you see out there? You know what I'm saying? Was it anything I should have did better? You know, I think when we got stopped on the goal line at one time, he came right off. I should have pulled it. You know what I'm saying?
He looked excited though. That's the thing.
Yeah, he was. And like I said, his poise and just he been around football. His cousins played. You know what I'm saying? Grew up in a football family, so he has that DNA in him. And just watching him go out there and keep his poise when we was down, and you know, keeping the line going, it was just a thing of beauty. You know what I'm saying? And when your quarterback can do that, man, you got a fighting chance. So
for all
like
the college coaches, if any college coaches are watching, you need to check this kid out.
Yeah. Hey, can make all the throws. Can make every throw we need him to make. You know what I'm saying? So really good player.
No matter the situation either, man.
No matter, it's really good. Like I said, the game on the line, we need to score. And a guy was right in his face, and he seen Dom Slito come into the middle, and was able to get that pass off. You know, he had to bag off a little bit to buy a little bit more time for him to get open, but made a great throw off his back foot, perfect spiral. Can make all the throws. So I'm really excited for him this year. I think he's going to do real big things for us this year, and I got him back next year. So I'm excited.
So is Dez a senior or is he a junior?
Dez is a senior.
Okay.
So most of my receivers are seniors, but Akona's a junior.
Ooh, that's a good combo, man.
I get him back next year, so I'm excited about it.
That's awesome. So kind of before we took a break, what the heck was it like playing Texas football, man? Because like I've seen all the movies, and it literally looks like Friday Night Lights is like playoff game, Super Bowl vibe every freaking time.
So you know when people say everything in Texas is bigger?
Yeah.
It is. And that's the one thing I think I'm trying to bring here. Like just the littlest things that we do, I try to make it a big thing.
Yeah.
Like we
media
have
days is
media day, like the we had a scrimmage, the JV versus the freshmen. But I made it a big thing. I called the food trucks. I'm bringing everybody out. You know what I'm saying? I'm letting them run out the tunnel. We're going to make it like it's an actual game. And that's the one thing I'm trying to do at the school. Every little thing, it might be little to you, but I want it to be a big thing for those boys. You know what I'm saying? Because in Texas, we made all those things a big deal. You know what I'm saying? We used to have pep rallies. The games was a big thing. Yeah. Everybody in the school went to the game. Like on Fridays, we're going to the game. Ain't nothing else going on. We're going to that game. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the one thing I'm trying to bring here. Every little thing that we're doing for the kids, I try to make it a big thing. You got the social media now, so I blast it everywhere, trying to get a lot of fans to come out because the boys love it.
You guys had a great crowd on Friday night, too.
Definitely. And the boys love stuff like that. And that's where you seen the fireworks. They love that.
How the heck did you pull? Dude, I didn't even know that was going on. I was on the other side, and all of a sudden I see these fireworks going on. I'm like, they're pulling some college crap, man. Some MLB, like MLB after, like in the
after
MLB
the game when they did it last night after the Kansas City and game. They shot out all the fireworks.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm trying to make everything a big thing. And then I usually do a youth night, and they come out and they see those fireworks. Like, oh, I want to go to Marana.
That's huge for the community.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I do it. Like I said, I try to make everything.
What you got, Dave?
Hey, Coach.
Yes.
Do you guys currently have any way of broadcasting the games with like an announcer to the public?
Right. We have a broadcaster. I mean, we have an announcer.
But nothing goes out onto like a stream or the radio or anything
you guys
like
are
that?
on Facebook Live.
Yeah, well, we have, I know Coach Roebuck, he usually on the sideline and he'll stream it. And he's not commentating. He's just making sure everybody's able to see it.
Yeah. But
you know what I'm saying?
like,
that would be pretty cool if we was able to get somebody to come and just stream all the games. We have a great guy named Grant. He does a really good job at
Grant
our games.
Bourget, right? Yeah,
Grant Bourget, he does a really good job. I wish he can go live and let everybody see that.
Yeah. You know what? Let's chat let's chat soon about this because we have something we're putting together, a whole online radio station stuff, and I think we might be able to just put a little.
Would y'all be able to go on the road? That's the main one.
As long as we have Wi-Fi, which we can just kind of pull off of a phone or something. So if you guys, we can figure this out, man. I'm not gonna give all the deets because we're the only ones doing it here. But
I'm all for it. So let the community. That's all I was looking for. Because a lot of them can't travel, and they I still want to see the game, and I think that's why Coach Roebuck he does a good job of putting it on Facebook Live, and I think that's what most people see it. They just he on the sideline, so he getting a lot of action. And I think a lot of people get to see it. But I think if we had somebody live broadcast, I think that love.
Yeah, it would just be audio. They would just Grant would basically just be into the internet world, everything he's saying and doing, giving the score updates and everything. And I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
All right, we'll get to work on that.
That's a good way to blow up the guys, man.
Sorry, I had to jump in because I hear him talking about it.
That's fine. Anything to put my guys on, I'm all for it.
I love it, man. I love it.
So going back to Texas football, let's just kind of jump ship a little bit. So my goal with this podcast is everyone has a journey. Mm-hmm. Everyone has obstacles that they face from high school to college. What were the obstacles you faced from going from college, then not getting drafted, and then going as a non-drafted free agent to the Rams?
So it all started in high school, actually. In high school, I ended up taking my ACT late. So a lot of schools that was interested in me kind of bagged off because I didn't have my ACT score. And it was my senior year, and they was like, "Wait, dude, it's getting close to signing day. How come you haven't took this test?" You know what I'm saying? I don't know why.
Because you freaking led your team to 15-1 state championships.
Yeah,
you guys are studs, man.
We were pretty good, and I don't know why I didn't have the test taken, but some schools were still talking to me, and then a lot of them kind of bagged off, and I'm like, "Dang, what's going on? What did I do?" And it was that test. I needed that test score, and I remember Leon Burnett, rest in peace, but it was a linebacker coach at Houston. And he had told me, "Man, you're going to take that test. You're going to get a real good score on it, and we're going to have a hell of a linebacker." And he was right. I ended up taking it late. I ended up taking the score. I ended up making a good grade on it, a real good score on it. And so many schools came after me after that because they was like, "Whoa, he's good, and he got the grades to get in." But I was like, I was mama's boy.
Yeah.
And I wanted to stay close to my mom anyway, so I ended up going to the University of Houston.
Was she a big kind of like role model in your life?
Yeah, I grew up with my mom and my two sisters, so my mom was everything to me, you know what I'm saying? She taught me, right from wrong. She told me to don't worry about working, just focus on school and keep playing football. So I was able to stay focused on school and play football. I never really had to get a job. She allowed me to just be able to just focus on that one thing, because school was already a hard task for me anyway. So she allowed me to just focus on it. You still got that good
score on the ACTs, man.
Yeah, so once that happened, everything started changing. It started happening fast. Schools kept calling her while she was at work, and she was like, "Hey, I got to work." Like, y'all can't just be sitting up here calling me every day. But they was trying to get in contact with me because I had got that score, and it was coming so fast. And then once I ended up getting to the University of Houston, I think I played freshman. I was my freshman year special teams.
4-year start. I got to say, 4-year started.
Yeah, my first game, linebacker, towards ACL. You know what I'm saying? Towards ACL. So
that's kind of that little luck you kind of
that's what I'm telling you. You got to have luck. Everything has to go for you to be great. Everything has to line up for you. He ended up tearing his ACL. He was a really good player. He was a senior. They ended up putting the backup guy in. He ended up tearing his ACL, and it was just me. And I'm like, whoa.
Were you throwing out freaking curses or something like that? Like, oh, this is my plan.
What's going on? And so I ended up starting all 4 years. And then after that, I thought I had a great 4 years, I figured. Yeah. But I went undrafted, and it was cool. My agent did a really good job of getting me with the Rams. They called me during the draft, actually. They had used their last pick, I think in the 5th round or the 4th round.
Did you go to the NFL Combine?
No, I ended up going to I did my pro day at Houston. I ended up playing in the that game in Alabama. The
All-Star game?
Yeah, whatever. What is that game? It's
like McDonald's something, or I think that might be basketball.
The Senior Bowl.
Senior Bowl. Okay.
Senior Bowl. I played in the Senior Bowl in Alabama, so I did a lot of my interviews and stuff with a lot of those scouts while I was there. And a lot of things people don't know. A lot of juniors get invited to the pro day because they don't have a pro day because only seniors have a pro day at the schools. So a lot of juniors that are coming out early gets invited to the combine.
Okay.
Because so the scouts could be able to talk to them and stuff like that. So I was able to talk to a lot of the scouts.
Get them early, kind of.
Yeah, so I was able to talk to the scouts when I was at the Senior Bowl. They usually come down there, bring you up to their room, and have those conversations.
What kind of questions would they ask you? I always thought about that. I'm like, how are they?
Oh, there's a lot. So it depends. Some coaches ask you about, X's and O's. What do you know? Like, I play linebacker. They had me draw up different fronts to make sure I know football, my knowledge of football. Draw up different fronts, different coverages. Some ask you about your personal life. They know a lot of stuff about you. Hey, you used to get in trouble a lot in high school. How you know that? Like, what? You been spying
Who you talking to, man?
He used to act like just random questions.
That's before
like
social media, too.
So so it's just a lot of questions. Just questions that are like make you think like, oh, did I do that? Or would I do that? Or they'll try to put you in a situation to kind of see how you respond to it. So I'm on like a job interview.
Yeah.
It's a business all the way down to the T. But that happened, and then I thought I was going to get drafted. It didn't happen, but I still was fortunate enough to get picked up by the Rams. And the obstacles that came, I ended up tearing my Achilles.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, I tore my Achilles, and I was scared. Like, I broke down. I was like, dang, man, I came up here to try to show them what I had. I ended up tearing my Achilles. Now they about to send me home with a torn Achilles. Now I can't do nothing. That's the only thing that was playing in my head. And I was upset, and Jeff Fisher, he was the coach at the time, called me in the office and was like, hey, man, you was a hell of a player coming out of college, so we're going to rehab you up, get you back healthy, and we're going to keep you, man. And I was like, you are? My Achilles. He was like, no, we're going to do the rehab. We're going to get you back stronger and stuff like that, man, because I think you was a hell of a player, and we want to see you grow and stuff like that.
What was that? So there's a lot of kids going through the same thing. Like one of my sister's friends, he plays at San Diego State. He just tore his ACL first game of the season. What did you do to keep a positive mindset going through rehab? Because as an athlete, it is so hard to kind of see where you were a day before the injury and then afterwards. Like, how did you deal with the mental piece?
The mental piece of it, and the one thing I'm dealing with it right now. I got two players, Curtis Munson and Kyler Spicer right now. Tore his Achilles, one kid, another one tore his ACL. And just talking to them like, I've been there before, I get it. You worked so hard to get yourself here and you got hurt. How come it didn't happen to the guys that ain't been doing nothing? I get what's going through your head. You worked so hard. And the one thing I told them that I did, you got to stay around the boys. You got to just stay around. It keeps your spirits up. Like, because your boys are your boys. As long as you're there.
Family, man.
Yeah,
family.
But when you're not there no more, it's not that they forget about you. You're just not around because you at home, you in your head, I'm hurt. And I get it, man. You don't want to be wobbling around like on the crutches and stuff in front of your boys. But I encourage them, no, stay around the guys. Everything that we do, you come and do. Like I asked Spicer last night, I was like, hey, you coming to the game tomorrow? He's like, if you let me, yeah, you coming. You're going to ride the bus. You're going to do the pregame meal. Because your mental space, man, you get home and you just get to thinking stuff like, oh, I suck, I got hurt, and you just give up on it. But me standing around the facilities and stuff, going up there every day doing the rehab and just being around the fellas, it kept me in it. And I was like, I got to get back to this. And it kept my drive, it kept my will, and I ended up coming back. So, and that's the one thing I try to encourage the kids, like, hey, man, just stick around the boys. They're going to help you get through this. But if you stay away from them, you stay at home, it's hard. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's hard just being in that room by yourself because it messes with you mentally because you're thinking about 20 different situations.
Yeah,
and there's only
and you talking about why me and stuff like that. And I'm like, so I remember the boys, they always going out to eat. And if you're not there, y'all went to eat without me. No, you just wasn't here. So that's why I encourage them, man, stay around the team. And I know, like I tell them, you on the crutches, man, I don't want to be around these guys. Well, I don't want to be a liability. And I'm like, but you're not. Like, they like you being around. You just injured, and that's fine. But I encourage people, just stick around the team. We preach family anyway there, so you one of the guys, you know what I'm saying? And anything that I do for the other boys, I make sure those guys that are injured are included too. Because I don't want them to be like, man, I don't know if I want to come back, man. That's how you can come back.
That's how you keep them feeling important, that they're part of this family no matter what.
You helped build us to this. It's just unfortunate you got hurt, but you played a key role, and you was going to play a key role for us if you wasn't injured. Yeah. So stick around because one's a senior, and it sucks, but one's a junior, and I'm like, dude, we're going to need you next year. You know, I told
your key role right now is to get healthy for us. That's your role right now.
Yeah, so a minor setback for a major comeback. That's what I told them. So a lot of them been doing it. They come every day. And we working out, I give them something to do. Like, hey, man, you can work out with the boys too. You know what I'm saying? So they appreciate it, and I get it. It still bothers them some, but it's not as bad as it could be where you're just all alone by yourself. Oh, yeah. The boys posting all these pictures on Instagram from their game. You like,
I went through that in college, man. I blew out my shoulder, and it's kind of a thing. Like, my scholarship was good, but I'm saving my parents' money being here than going up there. So, dude, I was rehabbing a shoulder by myself.
Yeah,
and I got COVID and myocolitis during it.
Man.
That's why I asked you, man. Like, cause I got stories for days going through stuff.
Golly, it's tough. It is tough.
But it's if you think about it, it's a gift because you talked about what you said. You're able to relate to these players now.
Yep.
And like for me, I had a guy named Alex Couch. He actually tore his labrum 3 different times.
Jeez.
And to be able to go to him and be like, hey, give me some advice how to deal with this. It just felt a little bit better because now you know that someone went through this and got back to playing baseball.
Right. Yeah, at a high level. So, like I said, I try to encourage him. I'm always talking to him like, hey, man, like I got a freshman dealing with a collarbone, and every day, how the collarbone feeling? It's getting better, coach. I'm like, hey, you got to get it stronger so you can get back and help the freshmen out there. You know what I'm saying? He's like, yeah, I'm going to get back. And I was like, yeah, you better be taking care of them grades too. And so I give them all a hard time, but I'm also giving them advice. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like I said, the one thing my friend always told me, man, the win's gonna come when you change one of those kids' lives. So
goes back to what Coach Skern says. Freaking, we're saving lives, not we're trying to win.
Yeah. So the win's gonna come, and the one thing I tell the boys, if you fall in love with the process, the wins are gonna come. But you gotta fall in love with the process, and the process is to working out. You know, taking care of business on and off the field. You know what I'm saying?
The grind.
The grind is you have to fall in love with that part. If you try to skip that, they won't work. It won't work. And that's the one thing we're doing over there. We don't try to let those guys take shortcuts. And I tell them, the one thing I love about the football, you can't take shortcuts because you get exposed every time. It shows every time who's been working. And like in that game, it showed in that third quarter who's been conditioning because we was able to keep going and they start to
You guys played at the same pace from this clock because you guys scored right away.
Yeah.
But you kept that fast pace from the first second of the first quarter, the last second of the
because we knew eventually they was going to wear down because the way we train, and I tell them boys all the time, nobody's training like us. So when we get to going at fast pace, we see it all the time. They're trying to get off the field tapping their head. It's because you're tired. And I got linemen out there, and I tell the linemen, we can only go as fast as y'all. So I push them the hard. They hate me because I push them the hardest when we run because I say it don't work without y'all.
They probably don't like. Do they like running?
No, they hate it. They hate it. But I tell them all the time, it does not work without y'all. If y'all can't run up there and get on the ball, it's not going to work. And I start to see other teams' D-line get so tired, and I be like, well, my boy's in shape. So that's why we do it.
I just played you my trick right now.
And that's why, like I said, the boys love it. It makes the blocks easier. You're so tired, you can't even get off the ball. So the boys love it, and I think it helps us. It gives us the advantage.
Awesome. So bringing it back, what happens after your Achilles is back to normal? Did you go back to playing? What happens after that?
So after I got my Achilles, I played in this. So I ended up playing with the Rams that year. So it was my second year, and I ended up. It's like a bone spur. After surgery, this little bone started growing. So I was dealing with that, but I was trying to get myself back in shape. I ended up playing in the preseason. We ended up getting ready to move to L.A. They ended up cutting me before we moved to L.A. Like that move to L.A., I ended up getting cut after that. So I went to play in the XFL because I was still trying to get myself back so I can play, you know what I'm saying? So I played in the XFL. It's not what it is now. It was a little different back then.
What was the biggest? What was so different about it?
So we didn't get paid. So
you were playing for free?
We were supposed to be getting paid, but it didn't happen that way. But
does that bother you now looking at college now? You got these...
Man, it don't bother me because I always thought the players should have got paid. I always thought that, you know what I'm saying? And seeing like the NCAA and all the kids be excited that they see they people like friends on there, I was like, I was that way when NCAA came out when I was in school. You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't have our names on there. You had to download your names. Yeah. It just had your number. But
that's still dope.
But that's why I said I was excited for the guys when they got the NILs. But just I played. I was trying to get tape to show teams that I can still play. I was a free agent. So my agent was like, plan this league so you can get some quality tape showing that you're good off the Achilles. But after I played in that season, I ended up getting a lot of offers from Canada. So he was like, if you want to go to Canada, it'll give you a full season to really to get that Achilles strong. And so I ended up going to Canada for a year, playing in Saskatchewan, Rough Riders.
Okay. I'm not even trying to pronounce that.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I'm not even trying.
Saskatchewan? Yeah, they was the Rough Riders. They green and white. But so I played there for a year, and then I told my agent, man, I'm not trying to be out there. I'm trying to come back to the States. So I ended up coming back to the States. So I was still a free agent, so I was just training. And training. And then one of my good friends, Alonzo Highsmith, moved to Arizona, and that's when he moved to Wilcox. He was like, "Hey man, I need you to come down here and help me get the program started." And I was like, dude, I'm training. I can't
Wait,
go
were they a
down
brand
there.
new program or?
No, Wilcox was a brand new program. He was moving back to Arizona.
Oh,
He
okay.
played in the NFL too. He played with the Dolphins. He played with the Chiefs. He played with a couple of different. He went to Arkansas. So he moved back down here with his wife and was like, hey, man, I need your help, like just starting with the program. So I was like, all right, I'll come, but I'm training. He was like, man, it's a gym down here. So I was like, all right. So I ended up coming down here where I was training. I think we had maybe 6 kids in the weight room when we got here. I was like, hey, where the rest of the team at? Why ain't nobody working out? And I remember this one kid saying, oh, coach, they don't work out here in the summer. So how the heck do y'all expect to win? That's what I'm looking at. Like,
you're skipping. That's the most, like for baseball, the fall is the most important part.
Yeah.
Now you're skipping spring ball and the summer. That's crazy.
So I'm like, damn, we got to get these kids in. He was like, coach, they all go and work. I was like, well, let's go figure out what time they get out because we have to practice at some time. And then I remember us walking around the Wilcox, just going from store to the swimming pool where everybody goes and hang out, to the different restaurants.
Oh, you were making sure you knew everything about it.
So I'm like, hey, y'all play football? Because the kids all worked at, like, they was all lifeguards.
Yeah.
They all worked at the different, like, it wasn't that many restaurants, but it was restaurants down there where the kids worked. And we'll go in there. It was like, hey, y'all the new coaches? Yeah, you play football? They was like, yeah, I'm going to play in August. Hey, what time you get off? We going to need you at the field. But we ain't waiting until August. And then, so I think we ended up getting like maybe 12 kids that summer. And then when August came, the kid was right. He said, they're going to be here first day of school. Another 10, 15 kids came. I think my first year we had like 26 kids.
Oh, so you didn't even have enough for a JV or freshman?
No. So we only had one team. We had one team. It was varsity. I think we went 5-5. We made the playoffs.
Oh, dang.
That's
Did
what I
they
said.
wait? Did they make playoffs before that or?
Nah, I think they went 2-8 and I think 1-9 maybe. They had a couple of bad seasons leading up to that season we got there.
Was it just kids finally buying in or was?
I don't think they was buying in. I think the kids wanted to be better. I just think it was inconsistent on the coaching. I think the coach was there a year or two left, coach there a year or two left. They didn't have a consistent group of coaching, you know what I'm saying? So some of the kids were like, man, I show up whenever I show up, you know what I'm saying? So I think when we got in there and we kind of gave them some guidance, some structure, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, coach, most of them worked on the farms in the morning. So we can't do morning workouts like I do here in Marana. So we had to adapt as coaches. So it was like, you know what? When y'all get off, we'll do it in the afternoon around like 4 or 5 where it's cooler. We won't keep y'all long so y'all can get back home because we know y'all got to get up in the morning. Yeah. Y'all got to get up 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning to go do those fields. So we understood that as coaches and we adjusted. And I think after that first year we went 5-5, we went 7-3 the next year. They all bought into it because they realized, like, dang, these coaches might know what they're talking about. You know what I'm saying? So we ended up going 7-3 the next year. And it was, like I said, it was good. I got my first win as a coach because one of the coaches ended up getting suspended and I had to be the head coach. And we won. And I was like, oh, it gave me a feeling like, oh, I can do this. You know what I'm saying?
Was that kind of like the moment you were like, oh, now I want to be a head guy?
And not the moment. I just think just watching those kids and how happy they was to win that first game, like they went crazy. And I'm like, whoa. And what's crazy is like a week or so later, I ended up getting a call from the Tennessee Titans to come in for a workout. Yeah, my agent had called me and I was like, I had told him, I think I'm done, man. I said, I think I found what I'm supposed to be doing. And he was like, are you sure? He said, I'll bring him because I didn't want to go up there. They end up cutting me and I would have been starting over again. And he probably would have found another guy to help him and would have moved on.
How tough was that, man?
It was hard, but I can say it's hard, but then it wasn't hard because I felt like I was doing what I was like. Those kids' faces and how excited they was for us putting it all together. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was hard work. Like, we really worked those kids in the summer. And like I said, I was still training. So they would run around me around the Wilcox. We'll be running miles. Like, they was doing everything that I was doing while I was training. And hey, coach, I'll do that too. Let me do it. You know what I'm saying? The drills I was doing, like I was trying to keep myself in shape. And a lot of the kids were doing that with me. So watching them do all that with me and going to that game, and they gave me everything they had, and we ended up winning. It was everything for me, I think. So when I told them that, like, I didn't have no regrets. I didn't go back and say, man, you know what? I do want to still play. I told them, I think I'm done. I think this is it. And from there, I've been coaching ever since. I ended up becoming a girls' head basketball coach.
And track coach too, right?
Yeah, we ended up starting the track program. Me and Miss Tanya Downs, we ended up bring it back at the middle school. We ended up bringing the track program. We had the first year, almost 160 kids from the middle school. I was like, whoa.
That's
like
awesome.
So like on track meets, the entire school was almost empty. All the kids were with us at the track meets because all of them was like, they didn't have nothing to do. And,
how big is Wilcox? Like, what division are they in?
2A. So
okay.
I think my first year there at the high school, we had probably 250 kids.
Yeah,
it wasn't a lot.
That's the sound for ads. We will be right back.
Hey, that's the sound for the end, man. We're done. We're at an hour.
Oh, dang.
Dang,
Yeah, it went quick, man. Here we go.
I guess I can do this all day. I like this.
That was quick. Coach, thank you for being with us. I'm excited to go watch you guys again. You guys are our game of the week again.
Okay.
Good luck. It's a tough one for me because Tucson High is my high school, but hey, I'm neutral on this. You guys, both coaches are amazing. Thank you, Coach.
Appreciate you.
Peace, guys. See you next week. One more announcement. Andy Lopez will be on a virtual interview Wednesday at 8:30. A new date, we will be live at 8:30 with College Hall of Famer Andy Lopez. We'll see you guys there. Thank you.
Okay. Andy Lopez.